Here we go. What's up, everybody? We missed y'all.
Hey,
We missed y'all.
we're
We are happy to
gone.
be here on another Tuesday evening. Yes, we made it, y'all. We made
Yay.
it. How y'all feeling out there this evening? I am just trying to send the invite out to a few people, and then we're gonna get this thing going. Gonna get this thing
Let's
popping.
see, can you see me?
All right, y'all. Good evening, good evening, good evening. I am Keya McClain, the poet, and that is
I, I am Shimeka Arnold, the art therapist.
boom,
Thanks, cousin.
boom. Anything for you, cousin. All right,
Yay.
so good evening, everybody. We are glad to be here with you all this evening on yet another Tuesday. And it's very, very exciting because I'm going to say this at the beginning of the podcast, I'm going to say it in the middle of the podcast, and I'm going to say it at the end of the podcast. What's up, Don? What's up? We are excited about tonight's topic, and we are excited next weekend. Marcus and I get married, and guess who's coming?
Yay.
My cousin!
Who's coming? Who's coming? I'm on this side. You're on the wrong side. You gotta look at
Oh,
me like this. You gotta
my
look at me.
cousin! Wrong side. I got it together. My cousin coming from
I'm coming. I'm gonna be in
Cali.
Texas.
I can't
I'm
wait.
be in Texas. I'm going,
Why you
going
can't type,
back,
Don?
back
Why
to
you can't
Texas,
type? What's going
Texas.
on?
It was like what's what
What's P?
what's
You in the building. That's all that matters. You in the building with us this evening. So
I've
I'm
been
sure that
drinking
you
a little
are
bit of some evening.
he drinking that Don Julio. Is Don drinking Don Julio?
Let's finish. Can't
All
type
right, y'all.
on Don Julio.
So you guys remember this, right? When I turn this over, our time starts, and we're gonna get this thing started on tonight's topic, which
Yeah.
is decentering men. Hey, so you on the tablet tonight?
Decentering.
Uh-oh.
You have
So we wanted to talk about
big
this
fingers.
topic, big old fingers. We wanted to talk about this topic. It's been a hot topic on social media, really for quite some time, and so we just wanted to have that conversation. I don't think many people really know what that means. They hear it, and some people have different interpretations of it than others, but one of the things that I think is important to talk about is, we do understand we live in a patriarchal system, right? So a lot of things are centered in men, a lot of things. And a lot of women were little girls who were taught to center men because of the patriarchal system that we live in. So let's start there first. Let's start with the fact that, yes, this is a patriarchal system where men have been the center and the focus for a long time. And the
And
fact
women
that,
weren't
like I
even
said,
allowed to.
yeah, yeah.
They
And,
weren't
and
even
the
allowed to
fact
have
that
their own businesses and
couldn't
stuff.
think, women couldn't think for themselves, and men kind of guided their movement, their thoughts, their feelings couldn't even be really shared and cared about because of this. Okay, so let's start there with understanding that concept.
Hmm.
And then let's talk about the definition of decentering men. And so there is a definition to it. There's a lot of different people saying a lot of different things, but what is the actual definition of decentering men? I'm waiting for Marcus to put that up on the screen. Okay. So there's two different definitions of it, and we'll start with this first definition. If you want to share that with the listener, Shamika.
A lifestyle. Hold on, let mom put on her glasses, baby. A lifestyle where you subvert and unlearn patriarchal norms.
So that's the first definition of decentering man. Let's talk about that second definition of decentering man.
A lifestyle and mindset that involves focusing on one's own value and needs instead of prioritizing the opinions of men or seeking external validation.
All right. So we see what those definitions are. And I think let's go back to the first definition, babe, if you don't mind. So
A lifestyle where you subvert and unlearn patriarchal norms.
So that first definition is talking about unlearning, which is something that we talk about a lot. We talk about
Mhm.
maybe unlearning
Unlearn.
some things that we felt were the be all to the end
Unhealthy.
all because that's what we were
Mhm.
taught. And
Yes.
so I think in a lot of ways, a lot of women were taught to center men. A lot of women were taught to make men a priority and to not focus on themselves, not do the internal work for themselves, not to love themselves, not to honor themselves, because it is difficult to be focused on someone else. It's difficult to be focused on someone else and at the same time have value for yourself. So, um, can you put that comment up, babe, so we can read it, please?
Oh, that's a somebody wants to. That's not a question. What we're talking about.
Oh, okay. We'll move
But
on.
but
All
your
right.
boo said you better read those definitions, Miss Crabtree.
Real funny, babe. Real funny. Um, so that might have came from our YouTube side.
Okay.
Anyway, I think it's important that we understand that it is not a focus when you are externally always focused on something external, whether it's a person, whether it's a place, whether it's a thing. And we don't talk enough about going internally and
You're right.
focusing on ourselves, loving ourselves, understanding our value and our worth. So, what we find happens a lot of times is women will devalue themselves to center a man, right? So this is
Right.
like one of the big key takeaways for me when I was kind of researching this topic is I
Mhm.
think the main takeaway was that women have devalued themselves to center men. And when you
Right.
devalue yourself, that means you in turn kind of put up with a lot of different things. You don't speak up for yourself. You don't know your worth. And so a
Mhm.
lot of things kind of take place that is to a woman's demise. And if she is in these types of relationships for a long time, or she's in that one relationship for a long time, it really kind of breaks down her spirit. It
Right.
breaks her down in a lot of different ways. So, you know, Data Firm the Real is always going to focus on the positive, but we're going to start with some of the things that from a space of understanding how this whole movement of decentering men kind of came about.
Well, can I say something too?
Of course.
And because that was the whole thing. Because when you started off and you said we have to start off to understand that this was how we had to live. right? Our value was centered around men because you didn't want to be an unwedded what do
Woman.
they call them? But it wasn't a woman. What did they call them? Like it was a name that they would call unwedded older women. And so
Mm,
you didn't want to be that because your status was based off of if you had a man, if you had a
yeah.
husband, if you were married, your status.
Mm-hmm.
So we kept this again
Mm-hmm.
a Western concept that has been embedded in us, that has been over and over reinstilled in us. Um, yeah. So
Yeah, that your worth is tied to a man, a husband
to the
specifically.
yeah, being a husband.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
So that's
very
how that's where
specifically,
we started. Yes.
yeah. And so let's kind of talk about. Let's just kind of talk
Spencer Old
about.
Maid. Thank you.
Let's kind of talk about how that has affected women over time.
Hmm.
And so what's happened is women have been in abusive relationships
Hmm.
because they have centered a man. Women
Hmm.
have been in a relationship with a man that consistently cheats on them because they've centered a man. Women have consistently fought other women, killed other women, tried to destroy the lives of that particular man or that family
Yeah.
over that man.
Yeah.
In fact, yesterday this is interesting. I was watching this Lifetime show, and it was a young girl. She had never had a relationship before. She got in this relationship. She was 17 years old,
Mm.
and she ended up killing him.
Mm.
Killing the girl. And it was like,
Oh.
was it really worth it? Like, I don't really know if that was worth it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
And so that's something that is can become dangerous, trying
Right.
to center someone else rather than centering yourself, right?
Yes.
So I think that it's important to understand that nobody should center anybody, but let's
Right.
be honest, the patriarchal system,
Has
men
taught
don't
us to do
center
that.
women. Men do not center women like that, right?
No.
um they don't do that. And so I see Don is saying we trying to give y'all the soft
Y'all the
wife
soft
life,
wife life.
but I think it's important to understand that in
That
droves, women are the ones that do a lot of centering of men. Let's be very clear about that, right? Let's be
mm,
very clear. Men are oftentimes not centering a woman and making her their everything.
feel
Um,
valued.
yeah. And so like there are men who do that, but like I said, for clarity purposes, let's keep it 100 and
Hmm.
let's be clear that women were taught this. Women were ingrained with this concept that you have to have a man, you have to have a husband, you have to
Even
do this certain
religious,
type of,
even religion
yeah,
did that. Hmm.
and you have to be focused on a man, and you have to carry yourself a certain way. You got to learn how to cook for a man, you got to learn how to clean
Your
for a
focus is on.
man.
In fact, you
Your
can't even dress.
focus,
In fact, you can't even dress to tempt a man. Not they got
so
to be responsible,
everything,
but we got to be responsible for that too. Okay.
yeah, everything revolves around, from, as a little girl, I can speak on this and I can speak about other friends, other relatives. This was something that we heard a lot of. My grandmother used to say this all the time. You need to learn how to cook so you can, feed your husband. You need to learn how to do this so you can
Hmm.
take care of that
Focus.
man. And
Yes.
you ain't doing this to do this for this man. And you ain't doing that for that man. Like everything
Yep.
really was centered for me as a kid, and for a lot of people I was around. We were taught to center men. We were taught to focus on a man
You were
and
trained for
not
that.
ourselves. Yeah.
Yep.
And not to
Somebody
and
on Instagram.
men were taught to get as many women as you could.
Mm.
And
Cause
that was, you would get celebrated as a man for getting as
yeah.
many women as you could get. So we were
Yep.
taught two very different
Different.
things.
Hmm.
Two very different things. And this is not to cause a wedge between men and women.
Right.
This is
Right.
just
Right.
speaking the truth of what has happened historically
Yeah.
and how we got
Historically,
to
thank
this
you.
place where now women are deciding to care for themselves, to pour
Hmm.
into themselves, to get to know themselves. Some of the things that I
Yeah.
heard that the women talked about was, have your own hobbies, have your own
Hmm.
thing that you do so that your focus is not just a man, a man, a man. Um,
Right.
Maybe delete those dating apps for a while and just do you. Don't worry about dating. Don't worry about trying to get with some man. Don't try to do all of the things because you can't do all of the things. And
Right.
then just have a busy lifestyle, create a calendar of things that you can do, and create a community of people so that you
Yes.
don't feel like you're always by yourself. And
Yes.
don't chase a man, attract. And when you begin to learn to love yourself, you learn to start to take care of yourself the way you want to be taken care of,
Hmm.
you'll attract the right type of people and the right type of energy. And
Yes.
I see Sharika has a comment up here. Some men feel like if they are providing, that's enough.
That's enough.
Absolutely.
Hmm. Hmm.
Absolutely. So, and that's what they were taught. So this goes
Yeah.
back to the
That's all
history
you need to
of,
do. No
yeah.
emotional connection, nothing. That's it. Hmm.
So this goes back to the history and why I believe
Hmm.
that we are why where we are right now is because
Hmm.
history has put us in this place where the women have made men this huge priority, and men have done what they've done because that's what they were taught. They were taught
Yeah.
go to work, provide for your family, and that's it. They
That's
wasn't
it.
taught nothing else.
That's it.
Be faithful, be committed,
They
like
weren't taught that. That's not what they were
be
taught.
there for her emotional needs,
Nope.
um, spiritual and mental needs. They weren't taught a lot of those things. And again, this is not a blanket statement. I'm not talking about all men. If you feel
Right.
triggered in any type of way, this might be something for you to sit with for a while, because we're not attacking anybody. Again, what we
Yeah.
do here is just to provide, our own experiences. We do the
Right.
research and we share that. So, eat the fish and throw the bones away. What's applicable, take it. If it's not, throw it out, put it in your side pocket, and you might be able to get back to it. Another thing that came out was it can lead to sadness for some women. If they continue to center men, it can lead to sadness because it leads to a lot of disappointment. Why does
Hmm.
it lead to a lot of disappointment? Because some women show up very, very thirsty. Okay, let's talk about that. Some women show up extremely thirsty, so thirsty that they are willing to mess with a married man. They're willing to mess with somebody that's in a relationship. They're willing to do whatever it is for attention that might
Hmm.
not be healthy for them.
Right.
Because again, they've been taught
Hmm.
to, you need to have a man, you need to have a
Right.
husband. This is a
Right.
priority for you. And some women don't even want to be in these relationships. Some women don't even want to be married, but they're
Hmm.
doing these things out of um, what I feel like they feel is a necessity based on what they've been taught. So again, it's something to kind of think about. If you are the woman that's centering other men, or you are the man that knows that you've been centered a lot, and that women are willing to sacrifice their self-respect,
Themselves. Yes.
that, yeah, like their self-respect, boundaries, so that they can go out and
Hmm.
have a good time with their friends and do
Right.
whatever it is with their community of people. And so, and some men think that women are possessions, and this is why, like, they get upset or they put their hands on the woman or they kill the
Right.
woman because you are considered a possession.
And
Because
exactly.
historically, that's what they taught us.
Hmm.
That woman is your possession. Look at where we are, where they have decided against a Supreme Court decision years and years ago. They've reversed that because they want to continue to control a woman, her body, her decision. This is where, and history has shown us that. And if we continue down this path, a lot of things that have been done for women's rights are going to be reversed if we don't wake up and start paying attention,
Right.
getting involved in the political aspect of what's happening in this world, but things are going to have to change, even with the political aspect of this world.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to even have to change. So there's a lot of things that have to be unlearned so that we're getting to a place where we're in more healthy relationships and connections with people,
Mm-hmm.
and we're not making someone else a bigger priority. Because I think for me, my takeaway was don't make someone else a bigger priority than yourself. Like a
Right.
lot of times people say, make that person more important than you. What? Why should I make another person more important than me?
Right.
Now, do I believe that I'm supposed to care for my mate, my soon to be husband? Do I think I'm supposed to care for them? Absolutely. But not to my detriment.
Right.
So we have to understand those things. And these are the types of conversations that we need to have so that we can address these things and people don't feel pressed about the opposite sex so much. There's another
Right.
thing that they were talking about the pick me's, right? So there's a terminology that they call certain women pick me's. And so
Mm-hmm.
the pick me's are the women who are like, again, willing to do, bless you, cousin.
Thank you.
These women are willing to do almost anything for a man's attention and affection. Again, even if it means dealing with this married man, even if it means dealing with the man that has another woman, even if it means dealing with a man that's abusive, even if it means, bless you again,
Thank you.
if
Sorry.
it means messing with a man who cheats on you constantly,
Mm-hmm.
at some point the women are so focused on just having a piece of a man that that's what they deal with because
Mm-hmm.
history has taught us that, our families taught us that, and society has taught us that. How many women on here that aren't married, that are single, even if you've been married before, how many times has someone asked you, when you gonna get married? When you gonna get you a man?
Mm-hmm.
Because they don't ask men that question nearly as often as they
Right.
ask a woman that question.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Mm.
Why is that, cousin?
Because that's your value. Your value is on that man. Because again, historically, if you are with a man, then your value, your status in society goes up. And so that's their thinking still, that your status is contingent on if you're in a relationship or with somebody. So yeah.
Man, your
So it's
status
stuck.
is contingent. You heard what she said? Your stat
I said,
that's how they made it. Your
hmm,
status is contingent upon your marital status. That's
yeah.
crazy. So
They
I can't
just
be a
now
woman
shoot.
that's single and happy.
Nope. And they just now shoot. Can we I don't even think women can like get like their tubes tied. They have to wait a certain age, or if they have to talk
Mhm.
to their husbands, even though most of them don't even have a husband. But okay,
Mhm. Yeah,
yeah.
and I didn't even put that one in my notes. That's a good one too.
Mhm.
About uh the doctor telling a woman she can't have certain medical procedures without her husband's sign off,
That still
without her
goes. That
husband's
still goes today.
approval.
Yeah.
And that is still, yeah, that is still, I remember after I had Corey, I wasn't married when I had Corey. And they didn't tell me that, my husband or significant other had to approve it, but they did tell me I was too young,
Hmm.
which I felt like, who are you to tell me
Right.
what I can or cannot do with my
Right.
body?
Yeah.
And the people that make these decisions are men.
Right.
They're men. So you mean to tell me that I should center that sex that feels like they can control everything about my life
Yep.
that pertains to my health, my body? And so I think that again, from all of the research and listening to different people talk about this and reading articles, what I really found interesting was that women said in large numbers that they were just over the men playing games and lying and deceiving
Mhm.
and hurting them over and over and over, making empty promises. And that was really the bulk of what I was hearing from these women who were saying that they were decentering men. Now there's a flip side. Let me share the flip side with you that I was hearing from some other women. And I kind of share this sentiment here, the flip side. So some women felt like, you know, it's not really about the centering of men, or the decentering of men for them. It's more about them focusing on themselves, learning to love themselves and invest in themselves more, getting to know who they are, what they like, and what they don't like, so
Mm-hmm.
that they don't feel driven to do everything based on a man's attention or affection.
Yeah.
Our wiring, though, is to have connection. So I think to some degree, some women are saying they want to decenter men because they're just fed up, right? They're just tired. They don't necessarily not want a man in their life. It's that they
Mm-hmm.
have got to a place of frustration and, even some of them anxiety. Like, I don't even want to date anybody because it just seems like this repeat cycle of stuff and it just keeps coming up over and over and over. I know when I was single, I was like, this is ghetto as hell. Like, this is straight ghetto. Like, it's all kind of shit in this pool. Um
Man.
and
You
I
s-
really baby, I did not like dating because people are weird. You know, people are just weird, and you would kind of see some of the same things. So I'm like, so a lot of these men are a lot alike because they're doing a lot of the
yes.
same
Yes, the same
things.
things.
So now when I talk to my single friends, I feel so bad because I'm like, what? It's even worse. It's
Mhm.
even worse for my single friends now. Um,
Right.
but also there is a there is a productive, happy way to be in relationships without having that center, of the opposite sex. But you have to
Right.
get to a place of self-soothing, self-healing, self-value, self-worth. Because if not, you'll continually attract the wrong types of people because your
Right.
energy is a anxious desperation energy.
Right.
So
And
of course,
mm,
go ahead, cousin.
I was going to say, because even the concept of saying decentering men is still a focus on them, right? It's still a focus on them and not just on you. Like, I'm decentering men. Now that title right there focuses on men. Like, the reason
Mm-hmm.
why I'm doing this is because men ain't shit, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But what if it's because I'm trying to think, because I'm single, and I'm not, like, I'm open to dating. I'm not dating as of yet or anything, but um I'm content, but it's just a place of where I am. It's not like, oh, I've chosen to stop focusing on men. It's just that I'm in a place now that it's not as important as it used to be. you know
Yeah.
I mean, if it's like, again, I'm not saying that if it doesn't show up, I'm like, oh no, I'm not right now. But if something healthy shows up, I'm just open to more healthier situations and dynamics, not only with men, but in relationships that I have with people, just in general. You know, he said, call
Yeah.
it recentering. Nobody was talking to you. See, that's nobody was talking to you. Just call it recentering. I would if I don't want to.
Um, Marcus, this ain't your
How you
night.
gonna tell me
So,
what to do?
bruh, step
How you
back.
gonna tell me what to do? There you go, being a
Step
man.
back, bruh.
Being a man telling me what to do.
Step back. You trying to make it about you. That's why we did
Right.
centering, y'all.
Right.
Like,
Shoot.
who asked you, bruh? Who asked
Don't tell me what to do. Tell me what to do. Don't make me what to do.
you? Love you, sugar. Mwah. But we ain't ask your opinion.
Look,
Or
and then here
you,
go
Don.
Don. Reese, you didn't sound
Oh,
good.
now y'all got
Here come
something to
Don
say. Y'all
jumping
been
in.
quiet. Look, they been
Reese, you
quiet. Now they
didn't
got
sound
something to
good.
say. They been so quiet. Now they got all this to say. Oh, call it this. Call
Are
it
they
that.
tagging in? Are they tagging each other? Like, thanks,
Let,
bro. What?
let me tell you something. I can't wait until their next live so that I can tell them all the things they should be saying instead of what they're saying. I can't wait until the next
Right.
live, okay? Just so we're clear.
You shouldn't say that. You shouldn't say that. You should say.
You should say this. Like I didn't affect
But
I
you,
didn't get in
you
on
know
y'all's
what?
soft wife life.
Right. Right. But you know what? This is what I like about where I'm in this space, right? Because I would get defensive. Like those things, I would get defensive because I'm like, stop, because of focus again, focusing on what a man is telling me and not telling me because you know, it's been this issue, right? Like somebody telling
Yeah.
me what to do. Like I'm grown,
Yeah.
but I don't have to say that, and I can laugh and I can joke and I can be like, it's okay. Like
Yeah.
it's like I don't have to even the men that like the one I was on a dating app right at one point and it could be really depleting like it could really deplete your self-esteem being on them damn on dating apps and
Hmm.
it's like I gotta get if it's not healthy I stop it and we're not doing this. So the one
Yeah.
guy, because I told you I was smoking a cigar, and he was like you need to be more feminine. So
Yeah.
and I didn't, I didn't again. I used to take offense to stuff like that. Like I can't believe you. I don't need to do none of
Mm-hmm.
that. I said, oh well, maybe I'm not for you, and it's okay. And he was
Yeah.
like, right, two thumbs up, two, fingers up on the thing, and okay. I don't take it like I don't have to respond. I don't have to prove to you that I'm feminine. I don't have to prove to anybody I'm anything. I can just
Mm-hmm.
be me.
Yeah.
And
No,
it
that's
took a minute to
interesting
get
that you.
here, though. Like I ain't even. It took a minute to get here, Kia.
Oh, it took a long time to get here. Because even I know for me at one point I was centering men. And that's what I was taught to do. That's what I was instructed to do. And so of course I did it, until I didn't. But I
Mm-hmm.
think it's important that, this is not a message of hate men. This is not a message of,
Right,
don't
right.
have healthy relationships, but it is a message of, you may have to sit back and reflect on what
Mhm.
is going on in your life. Do you
Right.
feel the need to always have a man, be around men, talk about men? And
Mhm.
I'm just going to keep it 100. I know some women that they cannot go outside and go anywhere without, well, is this going to be some men there? Is it going, I mean, they're so thirsty to always, and I'm not talking about sometimes, I'm talking about constantly make men
Wow.
the focus of their lives. That's sad. Now, I was
Wow.
never that bad. But I just think that reveals something about that particular woman. And,
Right.
I really, send them light and love and hope that they heal, because when
Right.
you are constantly seeking a validation from a man, you're constantly wanting to be
Yes.
around men, you're constantly wanting to be accepted and seen. And, a lot of times, and I used to have men say to me, oh, you dress that way or you look that way for a man. I do what I do for me, because that's what
Right.
I want to do. But
Right.
and there was even a point like what you just said where I tried to defend that. I don't need to defend that. I know why
I
I
don't
show
defend
up
it
the
no
way that I
more.
show up. I do it for me, and that's it, right?
Right.
But
I
I
love
think,
my body. I love my body. So I might want to wear something that shows off my body because I love it, not because the dude go be
mm-hmm,
like, hey, who's your culture? It don't matter what you, in fact, it don't even matter what you wear when it comes to a dude. It don't matter what you wear. You could be wearing some baggy sweats and a t-shirt with a stain on it. It don't matter. Like,
mm-hmm.
it don't matter what you wear.
No, that's
Shoot.
real. That's real.
Mhm.
And I do have a lot of men make statements or comments, and I know that they're not true, or I know that they're not, that's their
Mhm.
perception because
Mhm.
that's where they are, right? And so a lot of times people will project on you, and that has absolutely nothing to do with me. But
Mhm.
it is telling. So a couple of weeks ago, maybe about a month ago now, I'm over on my friend's podcast listening in, and one of the guys on there says, everybody knows, or most people know, I'm an avid cigar smoker. So, this one particular guy says, I think that, women have changed the cigar scene, and I don't see why they come in there and they do this and they do that. And, they try to look good for us to look at them. And, what's the point of wearing lipstick? And I'm like, you're putting a lot of energy on what other people are doing that really don't affect you unless you give it that
Mhm.
energy. Like, I'm not
Right.
affected by anybody being in the cigar lounge, right? And I don't feel like my place in the cigar lounge is any less than yours. And if you knew history,
Right.
you would know that women were all tied up in the cigar culture. So
Mm-hmm.
I just look at those people and say, poor baby. You poor baby.
Mm-hmm.
You just don't know no better. You a little tink tink. So,
Mm-hmm.
it is what it is. It is what it is. But a lot of times when men try to condone, when men try to attack women for
Mm-hmm.
their personal choices, whatever those personal choices are, I think that's also a contribution to women decentering men, because
Mm.
men always feel
Mm.
like, I'm a man, I get to say whatever I want to say.
Right.
Let's give another
Right.
example. Let's give another example. This is a twist here. How many times, I'm gonna ask you this cousin, and any other women that are on here, I'm gonna ask you this question. How many men have walked up to you and say, "Why you not smiling?" Or, "Let
Oh.
me get a smile from you"? How many men have walked up
Hmm.
to you and said that? And then I want you to tell me how many men you've walked up to and said, "Why you not smiling? You need to smile."
Hmm.
I'm gonna wait
Right.
for the comments.
Right.
What's your answer,
Right.
cousin?
Several. Several times.
Well, more
Several times.
times than both of my fingers holding
Hmm.
up, more times than that.
Hmm. Right. Hmm. And I think after the I'm guilty of saying it, Marcus. Why don't you smile? Smile, baby. Oh, it's my
But
angry face.
why do men do that? Because they don't see us as people, they see us as property.
Yes.
Let's just be clear. So, when men do that, it is because they don't see us as people like them. They see us as property. So
Right.
again, there's a ton of reasons why women are saying we are going to decenter men.
Hmm.
And I'm going to start centering myself. I'm going to
Hmm.
make myself the focus. I'm going to begin to love myself. I'm going to begin to be loyal and loving and caring and nurturing to myself, right?
Everything I want from a relationship
You're going
I'm
to give
gonna
it
do
to
for me.
yourself. Yes.
Hmm.
And so that's more or less what it's about. Hey, Floyd, it's more or less about you pouring into yourself and giving yourself what you need. Because
Yeah.
if you keep seeking that validation and all of these things that you desire from that man, again, a lot of times men know that. Men
Hmm.
smell, taste, and feel desperation.
Man, they predators.
They predators. So we
Hmm.
oftentimes will get ourselves bound in these types of connections and relationships and then
Hmm.
get angry that he is not focused on us, that he doesn't love or care about us, that he
Hmm.
doesn't see our worth. Well, he can see that you don't see your worth. He can see that you
Right.
don't value yourself.
Woo.
He can see that you don't have a life outside of him. And so,
Right.
because of that, he is going to do all of the things that he knows that he can get away with because you have centered him. You have made
Right.
him the focus of your entire life.
Right.
So, again, we're not talking about all men. We're not saying that this is the case for all people. But again, this is how I believe that a lot of these people came to this conclusion
Mm.
about decentering men.
My
Interestingly
Keisha
enough,
Watson. Sorry.
go ahead, go ahead.
My Keisha Watson had a couple of comments. She said
Okay.
it always starts with yourself. When women don't have when women don't have that for themselves, they will do whatever the men want, fall right into manipulation.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Exactly. This is the point. You will fall for whatever, you will do whatever because you
Hmm.
feel the need to have a man so bad. It will be at your own detriment.
Yes.
It will be to your own detriment. And you will not even get, the saddest thing about this whole thing is you're still not going to get what you want out that man. You've
Hmm.
sacrificed yourself and you're still not going to get what you want.
Right.
You've allowed this man to strip you down to bare
Hmm.
bones, and you still don't have what you want. And that's
Mm-hmm.
the saddest thing of all. And so this is why you have to start to center yourself. You have to start to focus on yourself, start to have some love for yourself,
Mm.
see all the worth that you have to offer, and then you're going to show up differently. And the man that you attract will see that you know your worth, and he's going to come to you and say, not necessarily say, but he's going to come to you in a different energy. He's going
Mm-hmm.
to come to you and treat you in the worth that you're already established in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm established in my worth. So that means you're
That's
going to see
right.
my worth and you're going to treat me
That's,
accordingly. But
that's
if
right.
I step out thirsty, lonely,
Mm-hmm.
begging, pleading, doing all the things to keep a man, they used to say at one point, you can do all the sex tricks, you can do all the
Tricks,
different
right.
things to keep a man. He going to still do what he wants to do.
He gonna still do what he want to do.
So
Hmm.
why not love yourself enough,
Mm-hmm.
respect yourself enough to where you're attracting something that is authentic,
Yes.
something that is going to be lasting, something that's
Yes.
intentional, something that's real? Because, especially in this day and time with social media, people get caught
Mm.
up in this stuff and they think that that shit is
Man.
real, and it's not. It's not
Yeah.
real. This is fake. These
Yeah.
people are auditioning. They're auditioning.
Yes.
They want to be picked up by a
Put on a
channel.
show.
But this
Right.
is not real life. And people will
Yeah.
get caught up in that and consumed with that. And again, like I said, I think women have to learn how to contribute to their own well-being before they
Yes.
think someone else will contribute to their well-being.
Yes.
Let's ask this question that I want to ask, babe. If you'll put that question up there. This is okay, cousin.
Oh. Can you just center men and be in a relationship or married? Yeah.
That's the question. Can you
Yeah.
decenter men and be in a relationship or married?
Yeah. I think and I like, and so this is like, I've watched you, right? And Marcus, and I absolutely love how you guys have this sense of freedom with each other, to allow each other to be yourselves, right? And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
I remember you were like, I'm about to take a trip, and I was thinking in my head, like, oh, he's just gonna let you again, that thought, right? He just gonna let you.
Yeah.
The hell? He gonna
Mm-hmm.
let you. Right? But the fact that the
But that's what we've been
relationship was,
taught.
yes. Markeisha Watson says, so many women need this because their identity, yes, is lost. So many people are trying to be identical to what or who is yes. But you know what?
Mm-hmm.
I realize, and I mean, I'm talking interpersonal, right? Just for me, I have to watch myself, like even with friendships, right? Like even certain things, I'm like, okay, wait, do I like this? I have to ask myself. I have to be so present
Mm-hmm.
with myself. I have to learn to be present with myself, to ask myself, do I even like this? Like, is this
Yeah.
mine? Is this me? Or is this something that I'm doing because I just, because I'm like they doing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even as a grown woman, I'm 40. How old am I? I'm 49 years old.
You're 49.
I'm 49 years old, baby. And I still have to check myself, like, wait a minute, do I like this because I like it? Or is it because I'm, appeasing somebody else, society, or,
Mm-hmm.
anything, So it's important for you to, it's important for you to know you. And in order to do that, you have to be with you. You have to know who you are. You have to know who you are outside of everybody else's expectations of who you're
Yeah.
supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
Get rid of the, like, in
That's so
fact,
that's so true.
man, you got to write, like, in fact, write down people's expectation homework. What time is homework? Write down people's expectations of you, said and unsaid. And then, what is your expectation for you? And then is realistic. Like, come on, let's be realistic with ourselves too. You know? So you have to find out who you are. You have to find out who you are outside of everybody else's expectations. And that requires you to be present
This
with
is
yourself.
why I talk about journaling all the time, you guys. This
Hmm.
is why I tell you to journal. How do you know how you really feel if you're not writing it out? How do you know what you really want
Hmm.
if you're not writing it out?
Yes.
We be oblivious to stuff,
Yes.
y'all. Like, and I'm not judging when I say this because I've been
Yes.
there and I still struggle there. Okay, so
You've
let's
been
just be
there.
clear.
Right.
But what I'm saying
Being
is,
on
you have to
autopilot.
have the tools. You have to have the
Hmm.
tools. I can't fix or repair anything without the tools. Thank you, babe. I can't fix or repair
Yes.
anything without the tools. If I don't have the tools, how
Nice.
can I fix something? How can I fix something without the tool? You
Yes.
need to pull your toolbox out and you
Yes.
need to start to repair some things. And how do you know what's in the toolbox if you're not concentrating on working on having the right tools in the box? You got some tools in the box, but you
Yes.
pulling out all the wrong tools, baby. You pulling out insecurity. You pulling out
Yeah.
shame. You pulling out regret.
Yes. Guilt.
You pulling out all this
Girl,
stuff
guilt.
that is not applicable to you healing, to you having self
That's not
love
even
and
benefit.
self worth.
Hmm.
It's not beneficial to you. You tearing yourself down. Stop allowing
Yes.
other people to do that.
Right.
Markeisha
My
said, when
Keisha
you know
Watson
who you
says
are,
right.
no one else can tell you any different. Nobody else,
Yes.
despite it
Nobody
being
can
a
tell you,
man,
man.
a woman, a parent, nobody,
Hmm.
nobody.
Man.
And I'm gonna tell y'all
And
something. I had a breakthrough before my granny passed, right? And so she
mhm.
would always tell me, you need to do this, you need to do that for a man. You need to my grandmother was extremely old school, like I'm sure a lot of our grandparents are and were,
Mhm.
depending on if they're still here with
Mhm.
us or not. But let me tell you something real quick, cousin. Keep that thought in your head. What
You know it's gone.
happened? Oh Lord. What happened was I had to challenge her. I had to challenge her on her
Mm.
thought process and tell her that was your story. I got my own.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
That was it. That's what I wanted to share with y'all. I got my own damn
Wow.
story. You have your
Right.
story. I got my own
Hmm.
story. I'm walking my own journey. I don't want to look like your story. I don't want to walk your journey. I don't want to bow
Right.
down to no man. I don't want to do all of these
Yes.
things and say this is for a man so I can keep a man, so I can have a man. So I'm not I don't move in a desperation energy. There's
Yeah.
nothing desperate
Yeah.
about me. Nothing.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
either you see my worth, treat me as
Yeah.
such, or you don't. And if you don't, I know how to say, I've been married
Check them up.
twice. I'm going on my
Right.
third marriage. And the way that
Hmm.
people said to me, you getting married again? You're doing this again? People try to judge. That means nothing to me because I'm on
At
my own
all.
path. I'm on my own path. This is mine. I walk it my
Right.
way. And I don't
Right.
allow people to play with me.
Yeah.
But I used to let people play with me. I
Hmm.
and once I understood my worth, once I understood my value, once I understood my
Hmm.
contribution, I stopped playing that game.
Hmm. Hmm.
The game of not knowing who I was, the game of not
Right.
loving myself, the game of
Yes.
not showing up fully as who I am. And
Yes.
so we have to, as women, we have to stand in our truth. You can still be in a relationship and decenter a man. You
Yeah.
absolutely can. You
Right.
absolutely can.
Yes.
Marcus and I
You can
have
be a whole
a
individual.
we have a very healthy existence together.
Hmm.
A very healthy existence together. We don't sit up and you can't go nowhere. You can't do this. You can't do that. I think you were alluding to last year when I took my solo trip, is what you were going to
Hmm.
say earlier.
Yes.
And it was as easy as, babe, I'm going to take me a solo trip. This is where I'm going. This is what I'm going to do. And this is how long I'm going to be gone. And it was as simple as, okay, babe, as long as I know where you are, be careful. Pay attention to where you are, your surroundings and all that. It's all good.
Mm.
Now, had he said you ain't going nowhere, you wouldn't be coming to Texas next week for a wedding.
Right.
I'm
Right. No,
laughing, but I'm so for
seriously.
real. Because I wouldn't even
Seriously.
be in a
Yeah.
relationship with someone
No, with somebody
who
that's like,
feels the need
tell
to
me.
tell me what I can and can't do.
Right. Hmm.
I will always respect him because
Yes.
that is going to be the person that I'm going to spend the rest of my life with, and I respect him.
Right. Right.
However, I'm not going to be ruled or controlled by anyone
Yep.
because of the patriarchal system that we came from and the culture
Right.
that we came from and what other people think should happen.
Yes. Yep. Yes. I think when when we were talking about when my Keisha said uh nobody else can tell you any, like, who, if you know who you are, nobody can tell you any different, because people will try to tell you
Yeah.
who you are. They'll
Mhm.
try to tell you, right? And you'll be
Mhm.
like, and sometimes I'll be like, is that me? Like, let me check in with myself, because is that me?
Yeah.
Right. And but again, I'm still in that space where I don't have to defend myself. Well, thank you for sharing. Thank you
Mhm.
for sharing. Hmm.
Mhm.
Thank you for sharing.
And
You
that's
know, it's
always
also,
beautiful.
thank you for sharing, because there's
That
no, because I used to get my whole worked up, my
yeah.
whole preach Kia. I used to get
Y'all
my
know I be
whole
getting in my preaching moods.
right. I used to get my whole emotions worked up and stuff just to prove to them that it's the, oh my gosh, it's the best feeling to just say, hmm, that's interesting. Thank you for
Mhm.
sharing.
Yeah. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
You know,
And I move on.
it's beautiful when you stop allowing people to project on you. Because
Man,
the energy that it takes trying to defend yourself and trying to go back and
man.
forth with
And they
people,
not trying to hear it anyway.
and they've already made up in their minds
They've
who
already
you
made
are,
me
what
decide.
you are.
Right.
And so why are you doing that? Don't waste your time
I'm
with
wasting
people.
my breath. My
Just
breath.
don't do it.
Wasting my
And
breath.
how in the big scheme of things, how does that affect your life? Like
None.
I always say, Kia, how does that affect your life? Before I open my mouth, how does that affect your life?
They
They
not
don't
paying no
control me.
bills. They not buying my clothes. They not giving me no food. They not, let them
It
think what
doesn't
they
add
think. That's right,
value.
my teacher. She said, let them think what they think.
Yeah, it doesn't add value to my life whatsoever. So you
To
thinking
defend
whatever
them
you
or
thinking is
right,
it's irrelevant, you know? It
right.
doesn't add any value. I know who I am and I stand in my
Mhm.
truth. And
And that's
so
it.
it's really also interesting that a lot of times men will feel like if you're not doing those things that history has taught us to do for men,
Mhm.
you know, some of those traditional things, I've known men to leave their wives or leave their women for not
Mm,
doing some of those things. Like maybe she started out doing those things and then she
mm.
discovered, yeah, I'm not going to keep doing all of this. Right.
That's how it works.
And
Ain't gonna work. Ain't gonna go to work, because this is not this 2024. 2024. You want
2024,
me to
I
work
go to
and
work
do the
like
same
you.
thing? I go
I
to
do
work
all
just
the
like you,
things
but
like
you need
you.
to do
So I'm going to tell y'all something. So I got several people that either I knew or I know that treat their husbands or their significant others like kids. This is another phenomenon. And then they get so burnt out and
mm,
so angry, but they've done it for so long, right? And you've
mm,
made this man completely dependent on you like a child, but now they're
mm.
adults. You know, I know women who make all of their husbands' doctor's appointments, who hold their hands for every
Yes,
little thing in life. You know,
yes,
yeah, a lot of men are looking for mothers and their wives, and we're not slaves.
yes.
Absolutely. And that's exactly what I was going to talk about with these people that I know. Like, I'm not making all your doctor's appointments. I'm not going to keep you up to, uh, I'm not going to keep you up to date on when you had your last dentist appointment. When you're an adult, the same way I'm an
You're
adult. I got to take
enabling.
care of myself.
Right. My grandfather did the same thing. My grandfather's wife did the same thing. and she passed away. We went over there to visit him, and he didn't even know how to program his phone. So he was like, so he's like, baby, here, help me. I said, how about I show you? How about I show you, Grandpa? Let me show you what you got to do, Grandpa. I'm gonna show you on my phone, and you go do it on your phone because I'm enabling you at this point.
Yep.
Because see, you didn't do nothing, so now you can't be worthless. She's gone now. You got to do it. You got to make these appointments. You gonna have to do that. You have to figure your. Come on, get your phone and hold it. I'm gonna show you. He was like,
And that's it,
okay.
and
He
that's
said,
all.
he said, "You right." He said, "You right." He said, "Because I need to learn." I said, "That's right."
But he
Yeah,
said that a lot
I
of
had
men
never
won't say
seen that
that.
before. But well, she was gone now. She passed away. They were
They
together
still
for
wouldn't say
years.
it.
Oh, I guess you're right.
They still would. I got an uncle who, was 100% reliant on my grandmother, his mother,
Mm,
for
mm.
everything. And he still to this day will not do anything for himself. He will not do it.
We create.
Either
And what
my
are we
cousin,
creating?
yeah, you create a monster by doing that. My grandfather, when my grandmother would travel, which was very rare, but in my great grandmother's older years, she would have to go down and check on her and do things. But
Mhm.
my grandfather wouldn't eat. The entire time my grandmother was gone, my grandfather wouldn't eat. My mother would take food over. I would take food over. He would not eat. He didn't want
Wow.
anybody else's cooking. He didn't want anybody else to do anything for him. He didn't want anybody else to serve him but my grandmother.
Mm. So she could. So she couldn't go nowhere then. Mm. That sounds like manipulation. That sounds like a little bit of manipulation. A
That
little bit
sound
of
like she
manipulation.
centered my grandfather way too much.
And he was like, "Well, I just won't do this." She probably was like, when she came back, she got back on it, and she
So
probably didn't
women,
leave that. She probably didn't leave often because of that.
yeah, but she didn't. She only left if it was a extreme emergency or a real
Wow.
necessity,
But she couldn't even
because
take a break. She couldn't even take a
she
break to
couldn't
focus
take a
on
break.
herself.
She didn't have a break from anything. And actually, watching my
Wow.
grandmother and my mother made me become the woman that I am, because I was
Man,
like, there is no way I'm going to leave this
man.
earth tired like that. You got me
Like,
all the way messed up. I'm not leaving this earth tired like that. I will not
yeah.
live my life and serve men and a man all my life. And what's ironic
Wow.
is my mother, when my grandmother passed, my mother tried to take the place of my grandmother in caring for her brother and doing all these things for him until I moved her here and
Wow.
said that's a negative. But that's what she wanted to do. She wanted to live
Wow.
out the rest of her life taking care of her grown adult, almost 70-year-old brother. And I said, that's not
Wow.
going to happen, ma'am. Centering a
Wow.
man. That's draining as hell. Yes, Missy, draining. It's exhaustive. Who wants to live their life like that? I'm not going to live my life exhausted.
Man.
We have to do better. And men shouldn't want their wives and the women that they love and care
Man.
about to live that type of life. Can we just be honest? If you love me and care about me, there is no way that you would even be okay with that. And
Man.
I'm
That's
not
not.
bragging, but I'm bragging. The other day, Marcus said, I had left the house and I was going to come back and cook. And he started to cut the vegetables up. I said, babe, I'm going to cook when I get back. He said, you don't have to do everything. That's called partnership, though.
He got a
And
dad.
I'm
Wait, well, he got a daddy? No. Too old. Am I too old? I'm too old. I was too old. Okay, so.
don't sound like them thirsty was the pick
I'm
me's.
like, he said you ain't got to do everything.
My teacher said it's okay to help others, but not at the expense of your
At the
own well
expense of your
being.
own
Short.
well-being. That's right.
If you think you get
So
ready to take me out for you, where I am in life
there's
now,
a study.
wrong.
Wait a minute. There's a study. There's a study that says when a woman gets married, when a man gets married, um, when a man gets married, a man lives longer, and when a woman gets married, her life is shortened.
I saw that.
A study. A study.
Yeah.
I, I,
And
I wonder if that's subconsciously why I'm not dating. I was like, I'm gonna live a long life. So, but I can
oh,
do
but
both,
you know,
right? I can do
you
both.
can, yep, you can do both, but this is
If
the
I have
part
Marcus's
where
daddy, is it daddy? His daddy act like him. If I have Marcus' daddy, I'll be.
well, Marcus's daddy is in glory. He's resting in peace.
Oh,
But he Marcus learned it from somewhere, and I'm glad that I am the benefactor of it,
beautiful.
because that brings balance to us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
it
Yes.
really brings a very healthy balance for us, and
Yeah.
I am very, very grateful that, it took
Beautiful.
me a long time to get here. I had to kiss a lot of damn frogs, some cute, some ugly, but I had to kiss a lot of frogs. Okay?
Some cute, some ugly.
Okay, okay. I had to kiss a lot of frogs. But I got
Right.
to this place because I did the work. I did the
Yeah.
work. And I'm still doing the work.
Hmm.
And I'll continue to do the work. I'm on a
Yes.
continuous journey to do my very, very best. You know, you don't need to know how many frogs. Just know that the frogs are gone.
All just gone.
Just know that the frogs are gone. I got my king now.
Oh,
I got my king now. I
that's so
get to say I do next. I get to say I do next Saturday, y'all.
proud. Yep.
What?
So excited.
It's gonna be so lovely. All
Yes.
right. So, do
Yes.
you
Yes.
guys have any question? We went a little bit over an hour. See, the hourglass is, the sand is gone. But do you guys have any questions? Do you guys have any comments? Um,
Missy said, "Good upbringing and examples of healthy relationships will mold a person for greatness." Yes. And my
mm-hmm.
Keisha Watson said, singing, "She's your queen to be."
Oh
That
my
was
God, y'all are
funny.
hilarious. We appreciate everyone's interaction with us tonight. We appreciate you
Yes,
guys tuning in.
that was
We
fun.
Yeah, we really enjoy, especially when you guys are interactive with us. Please don't not comment, because you think we won't get to your comment, because we address everybody's comment. Because we appreciate the engagement.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. Specifically, Markeisha, Misi, Don, Babe, for interacting with us tonight, um, and sharing your thoughts and your own experiences. So if you guys don't have anything further, we will close this thing out as usual. Get us closed out, cousin.
Let's take a deep breath, you guys. Breathe in, two, three, four, five. Breathe out, two, three, four, five. Breathe in all the love, all the peace, all your value, your worth. Breathe it all in, inside. Four, five. Hold it. Breathe out all the doubt, the fear, the worry, the insecurities. Breathe it all out. Get it on out. Cough fast. Get it on out, babies.
Get that shit out. Get that shit out.
Thank you guys. Right, right. Get that shit out. Thank you guys for showing up. We thank you, thank you, thank you for contribution in the space. Thank you for your contribution with your words and your energy in the space. And we just wait. Oh, say all of life. We just thank you that all of life comes to us with ease and joy and glory. How does it get any better than that? And
Yes.
what else is possible? Thank you again, guys.
That's always powerful.
Woo!
Just as a reminder, we will be off. Next week, Don and Marcus will not be on next Wednesday. Next Wednesday will be the start of our celebrations. And the following week, we won't be on either. Shamika and I won't be on because we will be on our honeymoon. So you guys will not see us again until November. So if you haven't already, make sure you go out and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Share this particular video and station with the other people. And we look forward to seeing you guys on our return. Until next
Yes.
time,
Mwah.
peace.
In eyes of mine, you see, there are no trees inside of me. In this desert, I can look